Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
An area student is upset after she says someone made over $400 in purchases on her debit card. She says her wallet was stolen from the STEM building at North Dakota State University. Police sent out these surveillance pictures in hopes that someone will recognize the woman in question. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley joins us now in the studio with more on the story. Bailey?
Mike, Kalisha Dow tells me that when she got home yesterday from class yesterday afternoon, she couldn't find her wallet, and shortly after, her mom called her to ask her about a recent shopping spree.
She's like, did you spend $83 at Ulta and $150 at Scheels? I was like, no, like I didn't even go anywhere. I was at school all day, and I told her that because she knows I just don't go on random shopping sprees.
Dow says her debit card, license, and insurance card were some of the important things that were in her wallet when it was taken. She also says over $400 was charged to her bank account, including purchases at Ulta, Scheels, and JCPenney's.
The money isn't really the biggest issue. I would just say like being a good person and not taking someone else's stuff, because if that was her stuff, I highly doubt she'd want someone to take it.
Now take a look at your screens. The woman in question is seen carrying out a Scheels and Ulta bag yesterday afternoon. Dow says her bank gave her a refund this morning for the money charged to her card yesterday afternoon. Mike?
All right, thanks, Bailey. Let's take a look at those photos again. If you know the woman in these pictures, call NDSU Police at the number on your screen. It is 701-231-8998. The inmate who escaped in a law enforcement vehicle and led police on a wild chase in Polk County yesterday faked intense pain to get officers to bring him to the hospital. 20-year-old Tony Kruger was being held in the county jail. Was taken to an emergency room and life-threatening medical issues. Authorities say Kruger was in unrestrained situation in his vehicle while on his way to the ER. That's when he coaxed the corrections officer to pull over and get out of the driver's seat. The report says Kruger pretended to be in extreme pain, unable to move. When the officer moved from his seat, authorities say Kruger got in the driver's seat and took off. The officer was not hurt during the incident. Kruger was eventually arrested and after running into a field in Winger, Minnesota. He's being held in the Northwest Regional Correctional Center until additional charges have been filed. In Grand Forks, police are asking for your help in identifying a suspect in several vandalism reports on the north side of the city. Police say the suspect is seen by a homeowner's surveillance camera. The suspect's T-shirt is pink in color, although it looks white on the video screen. If you have any information, call Detective Jennifer Freeman. The phone number is 701-787-8027. Well, there's word that we could be getting some stormy weather possibly tonight. Let's get right to the source. Hutch, when and how bad could it get?
Well, the worst of the thunderstorm activity will be mainly confined to our southern counties, but there could be some much needed rain on the way for many of us. Temperatures cooler in the 70s with the clouds pushing in, but look at central South Dakota, heating it up to the 90s. Radar showing that we do have some strong thunderstorm development on the boundary between that very hot air and the cooler air in the valley. Just standard garden variety thunder showers now across Stutsman County towards Sisseton. Just issued, as we've been speaking here, a thunderstorm watch until 1 in the morning for portions of southeast North Dakota and northeast South Dakota. As we go through the late night hours and into the overnight, we'll have a chance at these strong storms, mainly south of Highway 200. Even into the deep overnight hours. Most of the rain staying south of where they really need it, and that's the Northern Valley. I'll have details on the progress of tonight's storms and more storms in the weekend forecast here in a moment.
All right, thanks, Hutch. And make sure you get the forecast when you need it with the latest version of the Valley News Live Storm Team Weather app. Download the latest version for free so you don't miss important alerts. Just search VNL Weather in your app store. Hawaii could see its first major hurricane in 26 years. Experts say that Hurricane Lane could make landfall, and even if it doesn't, locals are bracing for landslides, strong winds, and heavy flooding. We spoke with one West Fargo native now living in Hawaii. She says many were rushing to get off the islands before the big storm. But for those who are waiting, they need to stay put.
There's a lot of anxiety, a lot of panic and worry. We've been seeing a lot of lines at stores, the people trying to come to get supplies, generators. I hear a couple gas stations actually sold out of gas.
That storm recently was downgraded from a Category 5 to a Category 4 storm, depending on which way it turns. Experts say it may still weaken or go on to cause serious damage. We now know the name of the woman who died in a motorcycle crash in Grand Forks yesterday. 39-year-old Renee Lillehaugen of Grand Forks was traveling on Demers Avenue with two other motorcyclists when she lost control of her bike, hit a curb, and struck a traffic control pole. She later died at All True Hospital. Anyone who witnessed the incident is encouraged to contact police. A Minnesota Housing Task Force is recommending broad changes in funding, technology, and regulation to meet a statewide demand for affordable housing. The task force suggested building 300,000 new homes by 2030 to address the state's affordable housing shortage. They also called for a dedicated and permanent source of funding for affordable housing programs. The cost of housing is rising faster than wages, according to the task force. The 28-member task force said cutting costs is critical. Members say that many of the state's residences already pay more than 30% of their income for housing. That means more subsidies are needed to make affordable apartment buildings financially feasible. The United States Department of Education is considering allowing states to use federal funding to purchase firearms for educators. The New York Times report says the Education Department is considering using the Student Support and Academic Enrichment Grants program in federal law, which makes no prohibition against purchasing weapons to approve any state or district plans to purchase firearms. Such spending would come from existing funds that are used to improve school conditions. Arming teachers and other school employees has been a key proposal from President Donald Trump in the wake of the school shooting in Parkland, Florida. Summer vacation is over and it's back to school in Fargo. 11,445 students were welcomed to the start of the 2018-2019 school year today. That's very close to the same number of kids they had last year on the first day. It also marks the first day of classes for new Superintendent Rupak Gandhi, who took over for Dr. Jeff Schatz.
Welcome back is the first thing I like to say, and then secondly, just give it your all. I think we have phenomenal dedicated staff in Fargo Public Schools, and I know that every adult individual that's part of our organization is excited and is equipped to provide every child with what he or she needs to be successful.
Some parents and students will be dealing with some traffic headaches early on this year, specifically the drop-off and pickup zones at Discovery Middle School, which is still undergoing expansion and renovation work. A few parents tell us that the construction is what it is, but they hoped it would be done sooner. Students tell us that it isn't hindering their learning in any way.
Construction is not really an issue because, we're not allowed in the areas much, so it's not really a big deal. There's not much that's, blocking the path to any classes or anything.
The first phase of the Discovery Middle School project is expected to be done later this fall. Students rolled into Moorhead today for the start of the fall semester at MSUM. Move-in day is the start of a big transition for many families who look forward to their college student to further their education. The Dragon move-in crew helps to make the physical transition a bit easier by handling the heavy lifting of suitcases, TVs, and other things that will make those dorm rooms like home. President Ann Blackhurst continued her tradition of jumping into the fray, helping new students move in as well. Total enrollment at MSUM is around 5,700. That's up significantly. Classes officially start on Monday. Later on Valley News Live at 6, the Minnesota State Fair is underway. What draws people to go on day one? Up next, what's prompting the state of Minnesota to look into Catholic matters?